About what these guys are whooping up, though. This bearded guy coming in to prop him up. For the third time in as many years, Ben Bernanke orchestrating another one of those quantitative easings of his. Now, like Sandra said, coming in and promising to keep interest rates very, very low by buying darn near any Treasury note and bond that they can get their hands on. That's very good for low rates. It's very good for free markets. There is only one teeny-weeny problem. They're not really free markets. Market logic Gary Kalpam says, not when they march on cue to bailouts for themselves. It is weird if you think about it that way, Gary.
Neil, I look at this as manipulation and interference with the markets. And let me be clear, I own gold and silver, I own financials, I own housing, I own the market, so I'm happy in the near term. What I'm worried about is in the longer term, when the next president has to wake up one day and call Paul Volcker because the inflation gets out of hand. When you print all this money and the assets are fixed, the asset prices are going to go up. And that's why you're seeing oil prices do what they do, commodity prices do what they do. And the Fed can talk, Ben Bernanke can talk blue in the face about how he cares about employment. He cares about the markets. And as in his Jackson Hole speech, he talked about because of all his moves, markets gone up. But I think in the long run, we're going to have some worries here. And I think it's going to be the word inflation. I know I'm going to get emails, people yelling, saying interest rates are low. It's right. What happens down the road that matters most. And just remember, 06, 07, everything was great, and then we had a housing bubble, and look what happened. A huge burst, and I think that's what this Fed's good at, creating bubbles and doing the same thing over again to create another bubble. You
know, Gary, a lot of folks that are going to be watching this, those guys at Fox could take a look at all this great news and you know what on it. And we're not trying to do that. We are trying to warn people, as we did in the middle of the banking bailouts, if memory serves me right, under President Bush, that you're setting a dangerous precedent here. And I don't fault Ben Bernanke for trying to be the only guy in Washington trying to get something done. I'm just not happy with the way he's doing it, because I agree with you. When you promise to keep interest rates low for the next 3 years in the face of these rising commodity prices, you've all but set yourself up for a nasty surprise, right?
And just remember something, Neil. We're not in a depression. We're not in a recession right now. GDP is higher. The end of the world is not here. But yet, not only do we have 0% interest rates, but the printing of trillions of dollars. We have never experienced anything like this, so we don't know what the outcome is. But
you can argue, Gary, I'm sorry, that look, there hasn't been any problem. I mean, we haven't seen inflation come roaring back, at least to the degree you and others have feared. That might be one of these waiting for Godot things that's going to happen. But the one thing that Ben Bernanke seemed to say today is, look, do I look worried about the inflation part? That the weak economy trumps all, and that's what I'm addressing. What do you say?
Well, first off, let me say I hope I'm wrong. But realize this, Neil. He wants to get employment better. That's what he says his mandate is. Employment's not going to get better because you know what's happening? All these commodity prices going up, that means cost of goods going up, which means profits come down, which means hiring goes down. So he's doing the exact opposite. And the other point I wanted to make is easy monetary policy over the last 12 years created, in my opinion, an internet and NASDAQ bubble which dropped 80%, and now you got the housing bubble where the market dropped 56% and housing was absolutely destroyed. None of those things happen without easy monetary policy, and now this Fed head has taken it to the umpteenth power. It's not just like what Greenspan used to do, lower rates here and there. We're talking about printing trillions of dollars, and I don't know how you take that back when all is said and done. That's the worry. And again, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm watching gold prices. If we start to see gold at 2,500, I think the market's going to start speaking up, and then Paul Volcker will be front and center on the cover of the newspaper.